We're kicking off today with what went down behind the scenes at Saturday night's main event. What was meant to end with a bang turned into a scramble backstage as Seth Rollins' injury during his match threw the entire show into disarray, forcing WWE to make last-minute changes that completely altered the closing stretch of the event. According to Wrestling Observer Live, Bryan Alvarez revealed that when word of Seth Rollins' legitimate injury reached backstage, WWE had no choice but to scrap their original plans. He clarified that while it wasn't a Money in the Bank cash-in, there was a major closing segment that simply didn't happen. The final 40 minutes of the show were heavily adjusted on the fly as WWE informed key talent mid-show about the injury and pivoted the show's finish around Gunther's victory over Goldberg. Despite closing the night by retiring a Hall of Famer, Gunther's moment might not have been the original final image fans were supposed to see. Naturally, this left fans wondering about the status of Rollins and the fate of the Money in the Bank briefcase. With WWE previously stripping injured talent of the briefcase, as Mr. Kennedy once experienced, speculation ran high. But on Raw, Paul Heyman addressed the concern in a backstage segment with Jackie Redmond. He confirmed Rollins is injured, but made it clear the briefcase isn't going anywhere. Rollins has until June 2026 to cash in, and WWE is sticking to that timeline. And with that uncertainty looming, the spotlight shifted back to the World Heavyweight Champion. Just 48 hours removed from ending Goldberg's career, Gunther arrived on Raw standing tall as a dominant champion with history behind him and the future closing in fast. With a rare smile, Der Ring General declared to the WWE Universe that he had ended the myth of Bill Goldberg, but his moment of celebration was short-lived. Before Gunther could exit the ring, Bron Breakker's music hit. Breakker marched to the ring, stepping toe-to-toe with the champion, as Paul Heyman, acting as his mouthpiece, wasted no time in making their intentions clear. He labeled Bron the next big thing, a title once reserved for Brock Lesnar, and hinted that Breakker is the future of WWE. Heyman even echoed lines once associated with Roman Reigns, claiming that Breakker would soon make it his yard. Gunther tried to walk away unimpressed, but Breakker cut him off and stared him down. Heyman ended the confrontation by declaring that at SummerSlam, Breakker will break Gunther and begin a new reign. The ring general remained outwardly composed, but the message was delivered. He may have conquered a legend, but now he faces a rising force with a championship pedigree and nothing to lose. Fans didn't have to wait long to find out who Gunther's next challenger would be, as a 5-man gauntlet match was set to determine his SummerSlam opponent. It began with Bron Breakker facing his longtime rival Penta in a fast-paced clash that ended when Breakker caught him mid-springboard with a spear. Up next was L.A. Knight, fresh off a win over Seth Rollins. Breakker zeroed in on Knight's injured midsection, and despite a spirited fight back, Breakker hit a gutbuster followed by a spear to eliminate him. Main event Jey Uso entered with high energy and immediately went on the attack, hitting a tope suicida and firing up the crowd with a yeet moment, one that Corey Graves criticized. The distraction opened the door for Bronson Reed to interfere, allowing Breakker to advance once again. Finally, CM Punk hit the ring like a man possessed. Breakker had already gone 35 minutes and the wear showed. Despite his resilience, Punk delivered an elbow drop and then locked in the Anaconda Vice, which seemed to have him set to win, only for Reed to interfere again and stop the submission. That's when Jey Uso returned to get revenge and attack Reed, fighting the big man away from the match. Breakker attempted to end things with a spear, but Punk avoided it and nailed the GTS to secure the win and a future title match. Punk had no time to celebrate though, as the heels began beating him down post-match, only for Roman Reigns to make his epic return to the company. He hit the ring to a thunderous ovation as the OTC attacked Breakker and Reed. Reigns nailed Reed with a Samoan drop and followed it up with a Superman punch to Breakker and then a spear to Reed as he single-handedly dispatched both men. Reigns and Jey were able to shake hands and celebrate together with a trio of babyfaces standing tall in what was Reigns' first appearance since the post-WrestleMania 41 episode of Raw. It was an epic conclusion to the episode, with Breakker seemingly being fast-tracked for a main event push after Rollins' injury, and he was the true star of this match, carrying it all on his back. Breakker now seems to be in line for a massive showdown at SummerSlam with Roman Reigns, but with the OG Bloodline reunion back in play, there's also a real chance we see Roman and Jey team up to take on Breakker and Bronson Reed in a high-stakes tag match instead. So what do you want to see at SummerSlam? A one-on-one clash between Breakker and Reigns, or a blockbuster tag team battle with the OG Bloodline reunited? Let us know in the comments. On the other hand, Punk and Gunther have a history together, having worked several matches at live events, including a steel cage match back in December. Still, this storyline is fresh and will provide a high-stakes match for SummerSlam. Speaking of champions, Naomi stole the show at Evolution by cashing in her Money in the Bank briefcase to win the title from Io Sky after she inserted herself into Sky's main event match against Rhea Ripley. WWE wasted no time revealing Naomi's first title defense as the Women's World Champion opened the show to brag to the WWE Universe that she warned people that nobody knows her next move. Naomi claimed she was done with the foolishness on SmackDown, seemingly wrapping up her feud against Jade Cargill, although she did name-drop Bianca Belair by saying she'd simply outgrown her rather than betrayed her. Ripley has no interest in Naomi's past though, as she made her way out to tell the champion that she's now on her list after taking the title, while Sky appeared to tell Ripley that she needs to get in line behind her. Before the long-term rivals could get into an argument, Adam Pearce appeared and praised all three women for what they achieved at Evolution. That's when he made the monumental announcement that it would be a triple threat match between all of them at SummerSlam. One of the big takeaways from this segment was how much Naomi has evolved as an in-ring presence. She's become so comfortable in her current character, having embraced her heel gimmick. Naomi is doing the best work of her career right now, with this type of segment being something that she'd have struggled to pull off during her 2017 title run. Another clear thing in this segment was just how popular Sky is right now. Naomi and Ripley got big reactions, but Sky's pop was on another level as she continues to grow as a star in WWE. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Elsewhere in the women's division, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria competed against each other in a 2 out of 3 falls match to determine who will face Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. It was an intense encounter between them, with Bayley scoring the first pinfall with a simple schoolgirl roll-up following a devastating slap. The role model continued to push herself with a lot of anger, but those emotions got the best of her as Valkyria returned the favor by pulling the score to 1 apiece with a roll-up of her own. They continued pushing each other throughout the match, hitting each other with their biggest moves to try and secure the victory, which included Bayley connecting with her top rope elbow drop, yet Valkyria kicked out once again. Bayley then locked in an STF as she pushed for the win, but that ended up being her downfall. As she tried to pull Lyra back to the middle of the ring, Valkyria countered and hit Nightwing to book her spot at SummerSlam. After the win, she came face-to-face with Becky Lynch in a tense post-match confrontation. The major victory continued Valkyria's incredible rise in WWE, having been one of the breakout stars from 2025 at this point. Performances such as this are a reason why, with Valkyria constantly delivering high quality in the ring. The loss does raise big questions about Bayley's future. Does she turn heel? Maybe WWE is looking to put her back in the villainous role moving forward. With no clear path forward as a babyface, that might be exactly what she needs. On Raw, Becky Lynch pulled off a subtle troll, one that flew under the radar for most fans but didn't go unnoticed by a WWE Hall of Famer. It all started with a fan sign spotted at Evolution that read Becky Hogan, and interestingly, Lynch stood directly in front of it during her entrance. The nickname is a playful jab referring to Hulk Hogan, known for both his iconic red and yellow gear and his infamous backstage politics. Becky took the joke a step further by showing up on Raw wearing red and yellow, Hogan's signature colors, essentially embracing the Becky Hogan label. While fans generally agree she hasn't done anything on Hogan's level when it comes to backstage maneuvering, her consistent presence at the top has led to some tongue-in-cheek comparisons. Whether it was just for laughs or a subtle nod to the chatter online, Becky's gear choice had a clear message: she's in on the joke and she's not backing down from the spotlight. The focus on the women continued as Roxanne Perez continued to prove herself to Raquel Rodriguez as they competed against the Kabuki Warriors in a non-title match. Finn Balor was shown backstage before the match where he congratulated them on defending the titles at Evolution and told Dominik Mysterio to accompany them for their match, which took some convincing. The Judgment Day dominated the match, or at least most of it, with Kairi isolated and beaten down in the corner of the ring for most of the match. The Kabuki Warriors turned things around though and almost had the match won until Mysterio proved his worth with a distraction that stopped that. Mysterio was made to pay for his involvement with a shot from Asuka, but the Empress of Tomorrow then got caught up by a roll-up from the Prodigy, who continues to prove she's a worthy replacement for Liv Morgan. The cheap win proves there's still mileage with the rivalry against the Kabuki Warriors, but it remains to be seen how long Triple H will continue to go down this path. He typically stays away from repeating matches too often, although the Kabuki Warriors are one of the best teams in the division. Therefore, it's tough to keep them out of the title scene. More from Raw as Grayson Waller tried to bribe Adam Pearce with wigs tonight, but Pearce wasn't having any of it. Instead, he announced that next week we'll finally find out who the new #1 contenders are for the tag team championships. But here's the real question: where's Austin Theory? With Waller getting regular TV time and Theory mysteriously absent, it feels like WWE is missing a golden opportunity. A match between Grayson Waller and Austin Theory at SummerSlam practically writes itself. Adam Pearce also told Dominik Mysterio that his rib injury will be reevaluated next Monday night. Meanwhile, AJ Styles was hilariously seen in the background praying to God, creating a lighthearted moment amid the chaos. Raw also saw a well-produced video package featuring Karrion Kross, who had a direct message for Sami Zayn. Scarlett, who was also seen, questioned the legitimacy of Sami's injury, calling him a liar and casting doubt on whether he's truly hurt. Kross made it clear he wants Sami Zayn to return and admit that everything Kross said was the truth. As of now, there's no official confirmation that Sami is actually injured, suggesting this could be a kayfabe angle. With SummerSlam approaching, the big question is, will Sami Zayn return in time to face Karrion Kross on the Grand Stage? If the match happens, Kross must win to solidify his threat level and continue this momentum. In a backstage segment on Raw, Chelsea Green was caught talking trash about Nikki Bella by Stephanie Valkyria just moments before their match. Green made it clear that she wanted revenge on Bella for eliminating her and the Secret Service from the Battle Royal at Evolution. That tension quickly spilled into the ring as Nikki Bella took on Chelsea Green in a heated one-on-one match. Green controlled the majority of the match, sending Nikki into the Timekeeper's barricade as she focused on the spine of the Hall of Famer throughout. Despite that, Bella managed to fight back against Green and the outside interference from Piper Niven and Alba Fire to get the win with the Rack Attack 2.0. She was immediately made to pay for that though, as the Secret Service jumped the ring and attacked her until Valkyria hit the ring and made the save, with the babyfaces standing tall to close the segment. There was a little ring rust here from Nikki in what was her first singles match since the original Evolution back in 2018, where she faced Ronda Rousey. Still, she looked good for the most part and proved she can hang with a current top star. Meanwhile, from Green's perspective, it was a big sign of the trust that WWE management has in her as a performer to have Nikki's first singles match in 7 years, with Green proving that she's a star in her own right. It was interesting to see Stephanie stand alongside Nikki at this moment. There have been rumors that the Hall of Famer intends on sticking around post-Evolution, and this could be how that happens. There's a chance WWE is setting up a tag team match at SummerSlam, as it's hard to imagine WWE will leave Stephanie off such a big show. She has a future title shot at Clash in Paris, so WWE will want to keep Valkyria's momentum going where possible, and teaming with a star like Nikki Bella would be a great way of achieving that. WWE often promotes Raw, SmackDown, and NXT as 3 distinct brands with separate rosters, but based on the past couple of months, it's clear that the brand split is either dead or being loosely followed depending on booking convenience. The women's tag team titles are the only championships designed to float across brands, so it's understandable when female tag teams appear on both shows. However, this week's Raw featured Chelsea Green, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns, all SmackDown superstars. Green could have easily wrestled Nikki Bella on Friday's SmackDown. The commentary team could have explained Knight's presence on Raw by saying he moved after his feud with Seth Rollins. As for Roman Reigns, he's been showing up everywhere except NXT. If WWE wants to keep the brand split credible, they either need to clearly state that certain moves are permanent or commit to using talent strictly within their assigned brands. Despite a lukewarm build-up, WWE Evolution 2025 proved to be a massive success once the bell rang. According to a report from Fightful Select, the backstage reaction was overwhelmingly positive, with sources within WWE calling the event a home run. The Intercontinental Championship opener and the Women's World Title main event were singled out as the standout matches of the night, but there was overall satisfaction with how the card played out. Talent and producers alike reportedly felt that the women were put in a position to over-deliver, and that's exactly what they did. A major highlight came in the form of Naomi, who walked out of the main event as the new Raw Women's World Champion. Produced by WWE Hall of Famer Molly Holly, Naomi's match against Jade Cargill was praised not only for its execution, but for what it represented, a career-defining moment for the 37-year-old star. Backstage, Naomi continues to receive universal praise. She's been on the run of her life in 2025, and although her rise to the top may have taken longer than expected, she now stands firmly at the center of the Raw Women's division. The Fightful report also noted that the general locker room vibe was one of pride and excitement as talent left the arena feeling energized by what was achieved that night. So, what did you think of WWE Evolution 2025? Did it live up to the hype in your eyes? And do you believe Naomi is the right face to lead the division moving forward? Sound off in the comments below. Back to Raw as Sheamus revealed tonight that he has a rematch coming up against Rusev. While the exact date hasn't been confirmed, the announcement alone has fans buzzing. This one's sure to be a hard-hitting affair. Raw also saw American Made finally reveal that yes, El Grande Americano is actually Ludwig Kaiser. However, they didn't address the other long-standing rumor that the man behind the mask used to be Chad Gable. With that mystery finally solved, at least in part, it leaves fans wondering, if Kaiser is the current Americano, then where does Chad Gable fit into all of this? Is there more to the story yet to unfold? One mask is off, but the questions are just beginning. SmackDown news now as WWE cut significant time from R-Truth and Aleister Black's match on the July 11th episode, and the reason behind that decision has now been revealed. Ringside News has learned that the match between Truth and Aleister Black only lasted about 90 seconds because the earlier segment with Jelly Roll and Logan Paul ran much longer than expected. Since they had to make up time during the show, Truth versus Black ended up losing most of their time in the ring. One WWE source called it a necessary evil and said the short match shouldn't be seen as a negative for either Truth or Black. If the match had gone as originally planned, there would have been much more back and forth instead of the quick one-sided finish with Truth getting the win. The short length surprised a lot of people backstage, especially given how strongly Truth has been pushed since his return and how WWE plans to build up Black on SmackDown. However, sources made it clear this doesn't mean those plans are being dropped. AEW news now as Adam Cole's promo at All In Texas was emotional and heartfelt. He officially vacated the TNT Championship live on pay-per-view, and it was not part of any storyline. According to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live, Cole suffered a legitimate concussion after taking a lariat to the jaw from Kyle Fletcher, and after speaking with Tony Khan, Cole was pulled from the event. Alvarez confirmed there was nothing scripted about the promo and clarified that everything fans saw was 100% genuine. In a sobering detail, Alvarez revealed that Cole was seriously considering retirement that night. He was emotionally prepared to walk away from wrestling, but ultimately chose not to make a major decision while in that headspace. There's currently no timetable for his return, and his in-ring future remains uncertain. In his absence, AEW moved forward by crowning a new TNT champion, with Dustin Rhodes capturing the title in a hard-fought four-way match, marking a major milestone in his storied career. Whether this was a pause or the beginning of a permanent goodbye, one thing is clear: if he returns, it'll be when he's fully ready, physically, mentally, and on his own terms. We are ending today with the official announcement of a hard-hitting showdown set for SummerSlam weekend, Natalya vs. Masha Slamovich at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 14, taking place on August 2nd in Rutherford, New Jersey. Following WWE Evolution, Natalya shared a respectful social media post thanking the women she competed with and expressing her gratitude for the recognition they received. However, what began as a message of appreciation quickly turned into a tense exchange when Masha Slamovich responded, challenging Natalya's words and questioning whether she was ready for real competition. Natalya didn't back down, firing back and hinting that she'd make the fight happen. That's when Josh Barnett stepped in and made the match official. What followed was a flurry of trash talk, with Natalya vowing to run circles around Masha, while Slamovich promised to make Natty eat her words. Now the two are set to collide in Bloodsport's no-ropes, no-nonsense environment. Natalya returns with a perfect 2-0 record, while Masha enters the fight at 3-3. With real animosity and nothing to hide behind, this bout is shaping up to be one of the most intense matches on the card.